Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money Channel. So Rectfence are bringing this to our attention. Interesting in terms of Google searches. Okay, when you search for crypto, guys, results apparently are dead. He says zero interest in crypto and Bitcoin right now. That's exactly when the biggest rallies begin. So check this out, okay? If I click on this and you take a look at these results over time, okay, these are worldwide results. When you take a look at some of these lulls, some of these low periods, even back in November of 2020, you compare that to only a few months later when the prices rallied. You guys can see a correlation there. I thought I'd take it upon myself to look at this in real time here. So you guys can see when I put my mouse right up here, you guys can see it's very hard to get to the top there, but you guys can see that is, it was April, May 2021 was when results were highest. When you compare that to, where the total market cap was here, let's bring up just the total market cap on the daily. And this is the right in here. That was April, May 2021. You guys can see cryptocurrency did hit new highs at that point. Same thing over here in November of 2021. Going back here, you guys can see November 2021. You guys can see the same thing. So essentially what we are noticing here, a very distinct correlation between search terms and the price of cryptocurrency skyrocketing. So the same thing happened during November 2024. Right after the election, you guys can see a big pump to the upside, a big surge in interest over time. So same thing happened right in here. That was right in here. That was October, November 2024. That was this period here. And then by December 2024, we had hit that peak. Same thing happened a few months later. And then a few months after that, so August, the summer of 2025, when we did see cryptocurrencies continue to rally. But guys, now interest is low. We are in the beginning of November. We still haven't seen Bitcoin make new all-time highs. Currently, as of the time of this recording, Bitcoin is trading in and around $105,000 per coin. We're hoping this trend reverses, right? We're hoping we are at the beginning of higher lows and higher highs. For more information on how I'm seeing this market, you guys can follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. It is only $5 a month, but you got to subscribe and stay subscribed to lock into that price. Where is the market going to go next? A lot of people have very different opinions on this. So follow me for my opinions if you guys are interested in that. XRP price has just been languishing a little bit today. We've been following Bitcoin, or rather XRP has been following Bitcoin, not us. XRP has. But guys, it's looking pretty good, I would say. Maybe coming off this double bottom pattern, seeing a bit of a lull there. We did see that move to the upside. We are now retesting this level of resistance, and hopefully this is just a quick retrace before we rebound and make brand new highs there for XRP. I mean, a lot of positive news is hopefully going to help not just cryptocurrency, but risk on assets make new highs. Eleanor Turret here posting this. The Senate has passed the amendment appropriations bill to reopen the government. So that's good news. The bill now heads to the White House, and the Senate will be out for the rest of the week. As one of her sources put it, I thought they wouldn't be done until later tonight, but they sped through that shit. They want out of this town. There's nothing like threatening weekend work to get a bipartisan result, right? Eleanor Turret wanted to thank her for that, and wanted to thank Rectfence just for posting that. Now, we got Pantera Capital. We know Dan Moorhead's company is invested heavily with Ripple. Regulatory headwinds are now tailwinds, scaling liquidity and institutional partnerships for the next phase of crypto adoption. This is Brad Garlinghouse discussing this. It's interesting how it started as headwinds and how that's transformed into tailwinds. Guys, that's essentially going to bring crypto prices up. That's better for the industry ultimately. I can't wait.
I think the inevitable march of pursuit of these technologies can't be stopped. You had Gary Gensler out there pontificating about how the crypto is the Wild West. Like, that is the furthest thing from the truth. Like, the people I knew were trying to give us clear rules, help us understand those rules, and don't just sue us without actually providing that guidance. And so, it took a while, but we're finally in a happier place. The idea that there's one internet doesn't really make sense. I think Ripple's always tried to champion, if crypto does well, that's going to probably be really good for Ripple. And so we've invested almost $3 billion in other crypto initiatives. Now, some of those are XRP specific. Some of those are limited partners in funds that support lots of different things. But we think if crypto does well, it's good for us. And it's part of the reason you alluded to this, but we felt it was so important to fight the fight with the SEC and the last administration because it was important for crypto. And if somebody didn't fight that fight, that was going to be bad for our industry.
You guys are the original dad, right? You are the original company that owns a bunch of tokens, right?
Yes. I think what we have found is it makes sense to have anchor players within an ecosystem. We are the most interested party in XRP's success. We care immensely about the vibrancy, the utility, the liquidity of the XRP ecosystem. But the nice thing is the breadth of participants in the XRP ecosystem has changed dramatically. And so we want to build products and services that customers love and are happy to pay for, and have the symbiotic relationship of driving liquidity in the XRP ecosystem. If the largest economy in the world goes from headwinds to tailwinds, I think we are underpriced that shift. And I think that'll play out over the 6, 12, 18 months.
Brad Garlinghouse says it time and time again, they, Ripple, have a vested interest in XRP, keeping the ecosystem liquid, keeping it robust, having utility, and, even investing in projects that do support XRP. When you have the biggest cryptocurrency company on the planet saying this, it's no wonder we have all these XRP ETFs coming out, and I think the number now is 33. They're going to be coming out in the next week or so. Arthur here, XRP Arthur, posting this. The Canary XRP ETF has been officially registered with the SEC, so the Form 8A confirms its listing on the NASDAQ, and it was just signed by Stephen McClurg on November the 10th, so that was yesterday. Michael Branch also commenting on this with an article from CoinGate. XRP is set for a big week, and we're looking at that November 13th launch. This might, in essence, see the tokens jump in value handsomely. Last week, asset manager Canary Capital filed for that S1 registration. This effectively cleared the last challenge for the firm. This set up the fund for a launch date on Thursday. So guys, in a couple of days, this could be a boost to the token's performance, according to many experts. And maybe just yesterday, we were seeing that front running. The Canary Capital ETF joins the list of the token spot funds that have come into view now on the DTCC. And so I talked about that in yesterday's video. We got some more details about the Franklin Templeton debut, November 14th. Bitwise is expected between the 19th and 20th. Meanwhile, 21 shares in CoinShares, are targeted for mid to late November. So guys, XRP ETF pandemonium is going to be coming within the next couple of weeks. Great news there. Stephen McClurg also has big expectations for this XRP ETF. He says it's going to probably double that of Solana.
When you look at the flow that we've seen with Solana, the BSOL, Bitwise did a great job getting that one out on the ground, and absolutely crazy numbers. One of the best performing ETFs that we've seen so far, especially in digital assets. How do you think these XRP ETFs will perform against that?
Yeah, I actually think that XRP will probably double what Solana did in its first week and even today, as far as volume and as far as total AUM. If you just even look at the market caps of the two tokens, XRP is about 50% higher than Solana. Yeah. But the difference is, and we experienced this with HBAR last week or 2 weeks ago now, the HBAR ETF experienced $70 million in inflows just in the first 3 days. And it's because it's really well known among institutional circles and enterprise investors. Yeah. So even though it's not a big retail product, it doesn't have a ton of volume, it's got the right kind of interest. And that's how XRP is. Solana is probably a little bit more of a retail token. XRP is much more of a financial services, enterprise, institutional token. And when you put that into an ETF, even though it's only 50% more market cap, it'll probably be 100% or 200% more inflows because of the institutional audience.
So that's wild. Even comparing XRP to HBAR, I feel like XRP is more of a household name than HBAR is, but he's saying XRP more institutional focused, whereas HBAR more retail will be purchasing that or have been purchasing that. I mean, there's reason why XRP is, part of 33 different ETFs. The institutional players have no lack of choice when being able to invest in XRP through an ETF exchange traded fund. So that's positive news. I think, the proof is just in the pudding there. The optics speak volumes. Pumpy is commenting on the XRP ledger adoption with DNA Protocol. This was a brand new partnership that we just talked about within the last few months. And so XRP Ledger adoption is going live in the country of Morocco through DNA Protocol. They've just launched their lab intake program across the country, onboarding certified clinics and research centers to anchor genomic identity data directly on the XRP Ledger. And guys, this is a real-world use case. This is not a pilot. This is real-world utility for XRP, bringing healthcare identity and blockchain together in one scalable system. Morocco is now part of a growing network where the XRP Ledger secures medical and genomic records for millions, proving that the XRP Ledger is more than payments. It is the infrastructure for the next data economy. And so DNA Protocol did just retweet this out. Certified labs and clinics are being onboarded and using the XRPL for data verification. So big news there. We even got the AI overview here from Google saying that this is correct. They're onboarding the Moroccan labs into DNA Protocol's network, which uses the XRP Ledger. I give some more information here. I will link this in the description if you guys are interested. So wanted to thank Pumpius and Jack the Rippler, along with Michael Branch and Arthur there just for pointing that out. So the demand is essentially going to rise. Here's BlackRock's Robbie Mitchnick, okay? Former employee of Ripple. I think he was an intern. I don't think he was an executive. But he was part of the valuation calculator from way back when, 2017 or 2018. I've done videos on Robbie over the years. I'll see if I can find one, and I will link it up here if you guys are interested. So he says most coins are worthless, but praises Bitcoin and the long-term vision that drives real success. Now, the other thing that he says here is the same thing Brad Garlinghouse has said for years. And guys, you know what that is? That the real-world utility coins are the ones that are going to have value. He doesn't name XRP specifically, but remember, he was the co-creator of the XRP valuation calculator.
Well, I think my advice is more for the people coming in how they approach the space. I think it's very important to be discerning and to be very particular about which assets one is going to hold, right? There's a reason Bitcoin is still roughly 65% of the market cap of the space, because it has very clear product market fit and investor narrative and a big addressable market as this digital gold-like asset. There's a reason there's consolidation in a lot of the rest of the market cap in a few top assets, which is those are the handful that have really proven themselves and developed some degree of product market fit and economic utility. One has to be very wary going far down the table. There's hundreds of thousands of crypto assets out there today. The vast majority of those are or will be totally worthless. And so investors have to be careful around that. And they also, I think, should be wary around trading on a short-term basis. Certainly, short-term levered basis is a tough game a lot of times in the crypto space. And I think the people who've done the best in this space have taken a much more long-term fundamental view and understood that you have to be patient and you have to understand that there's volatility in the space. And there will be cycles.
It's all about looking at that long-term view. Robbie Mitchnick essentially saying the fundamentals are what's going to be important. And on top of that, he says tokenization is about to explode, okay? Tokenization has broken the paradigm that forced you to choose between capturing full yield on your US dollar savings and having full liquidity. Here's what he says about tokenization. Listen to this.
It's all about taking the generalized value prop of tokenization, which has lots of exciting things, right? 24/7, real-time settlement, digitally native, global, interoperable, programmable, and saying, how do we deploy that in a given asset class in a way that creates material new value or utility for investors? And so in the case of BUIDL and in general, in the case of money market funds, tokenizing them has broken the paradigm that previously existed that forced you to choose between capturing full yield on your US dollar savings and having full liquidity. For the first time, you could hold US dollars in a tokenized money market fund. And then as soon as you needed liquidity to make a payment or settle a trade, et cetera, you could convert that to a stablecoin. And that, I think, is a really powerful value proposition. That's why this asset class, far and above any others to date, has seen real growth and adoption in tokenization. So now the question is, where do we go next? And a lot of it is going to stay in this category, right? Because there's lots more to do to be able to open up access and serve more and more clients and investors. But also it's about figuring out what are the second and third, next most viable asset classes where you can use tokenization to drive real utility, to expand access, to create an incrementally distinctive level of value for users of that. And that's the journey we're on now.
They really don't want to mention XRP. However, we know all the clues lead back to XRP adoption eventually. Even Cypress Domenicor here noticing this about the big liquidation event that happened back in early October. On October the 9th, days before the largest liquidation event in crypto history, in October, when hundreds of billions were wiped out in 48 hours, State Street released their 2025 digital asset outlook, saying this, okay, institutional investors are moving beyond experimentation. Nearly 60% plan to increase their digital asset allocation in the coming year. Could it have been a coincidence, guys, that we saw prices liquidate? I'm just going to put that on, sorry, it was already on auto, but just to show you guys what happened for cryptocurrencies like XRP and how much the price wicked down. Guys, this was an event, almost a 34% liquidation for XRP on that particular day. It did come back up, it rebounded. But guys, the conspiracy is, did this give institutions an opportunity to load up? I mean, they just released this one day before. Nearly 60% plan to increase their holdings when markets get hit with a global risk-off event that clears out retail leverage across the board. This was not random, it's all positioning. While panic hits the charts, institutions were already preparing for the next phase of tokenization and regulated adoption. Things that make you go, So it's all stated here in this State Street report, issued the day before October the 9th, 2025. All these institutional investors did not want to purchase at overbought prices. The wipeout came as crypto markets reeled from a global risk-off event triggered by U.S. President Donald Trump's announcement of a 100% additional tariff on Chinese imports. That could have been the red herring, but guys, it could have been planned all along, and I know some people do believe that. It is an interesting theory here. I mean, of course, those cryptocurrencies that are going to solve problems are going to be the ones that will be gobbled up quickest. That's just my opinion. And for more opinions on where I think this market's going to go in the short, medium, and long term, you guys can follow me at patreon.com/workingmoneychannel. It is only $5 a month, but you got to subscribe and stay subscribed to lock in. Check out the Working Money Channel merch store if you guys are interested in helping to support the channel by purchasing some Working Money Channel merch. Thanks so much to everybody. Every little bit counts. I do thank you all sincerely. Link is in the description of the video. That's just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.